Hey everybody, I'm Chris and this is my channel, Chesapeake Chris. Thanks so much for stopping by. This video I'm going to go over and review a new inflatable PFD that I got. I finally broke down and got one of the more expensive inflatable PFDs. Probably one of the best purchases I've made so far. This is going to be a really in-depth look at the benefits of it and exactly how they operate and what you got to do, the laws to make sure that you're legal when you have it. So if you want to make sure you're legal, see how these things work, and see how to load and unload them, please stick around. So I got a couple gift cards from friends at Christmas time for Bass Pro Shop. I was just going to buy some lures and stuff. Can always use lures, but my wife told me that when you get money or a gift card like that, you should buy something that you want, but you wouldn't buy for yourself. So I thought about that, and that's what I did. And that's what brings us to this new inflatable PFD I have that I bought from Bass Pro Shops. So we're going to do a review of this PFD, show you how everything works, tell you all the pros of it, and we're going to do a slight comparison to my old bulky PFD that's not inflatable. So my original PFD I bought about 1.5 years ago when I first got my kayak. I got it off Amazon. I got it because it was pretty inexpensive. It was only about $22. It is Coast Guard approved, and it's not real thick. So it's not overly bulky, and the back part of it is up high, this part here, so it tends to be up above, you know, your the back of your kayak seat. It's fully adjustable. It fits adults. It's got a pocket, and I used to wear this. I'll be honest, not all the time, but I would wear it if conditions warranted it, like really rough water, really cold water, things of that nature, really deep water. But I'll be honest, in the summertime when it gets hot, this PFD actually makes you a lot hotter. Even though it has big cutouts here for the arms and the sides, just these pads on the front of you and this pad on the back, it really made me a lot hotter. I get hot easily anyways. So this PFD worked, but it's not near as comfortable as my new one. So now let me show you some of the features of the new one, and you'll kind of see why I like it a lot better. So this new PFD that I got from Bass Pro Shops, it's an AM24. The 24 number actually signifies the size of the CO2 cartridge that needs to go inside of it for inflation. I think it's in grams, so I think this one takes a 24 gram CO2 cartridge. Now, I'm not the sharpest sickle in the shed, but I always wondered how these worked. Well, once I bought one, I realized it. Oh, by the way, this one cost about $79, I think. So when I got it, I got reading over the directions. Well, how these things work, if you didn't know, is they're actually put together with Velcro. See that? There's Velcro. And inside is the part that inflates. This Velcro comes all apart when this thing inflates, so that this bladder inside, this chartreuse bladder, can inflate. Now you can set these up for either automatic inflation if they get wet, or manual. They give you a little pocket over here, and there's a little piece you need to change out if you want it to be manual inflation. It actually comes with this piece right here. And you take this out and you install this yellow piece here that says manual on it. The other thing I wanted to mention is if you have it set up for automatic, you have that little yellow bobbin in there and a clear cap. Well, if you're using it in automatic, there's a warning on it right here. That bobbin has to be changed every 5 years. I think there's actually a date stamped on it. So if you're using this thing in automatic, change that bobbin every 5 years. Because if you don't and you get checked and it's 7 years old, you may get a ticket for that. Then this is the CO2 cartridge that it uses. Like I say, I think it's a 24 gram, just to give you a for instance. Here's comparing it to a 12 gram that my CO2 pistol takes. This one is probably twice as big. But anyway, so I set it up for manual so it wouldn't automatically inflate when it gets wet. So you put this thing on that says manual. This has to be green. And then you have to hang this tag and this handle out the bottom. That's the pull handle you pull to pierce this cylinder to inflate it. Now, this thing had really good directions with it, but it also has really good directions physically attached to it. It tells you all you need to know about how it works and how to set it up for manual or automatic. These are all attached directly to it. It talks about the lever green or red. It talks about changing out the piece to make it manual. It has really good directions for disassembly with a figure and rearming directions. And there's steps. And then on the inside on this yellow bladder, it even tells you, like, step 5, fold that back. Step 4, fold that under. So it does have really good directions. So I didn't have any problems changing it over. Like I said, they give you a little pocket so you don't lose this piece. There's actually a little pocket on this side that you're supposed to put this piece in case you would ever want to change it back over to automatic. So I just stash that little piece in there like you're supposed to. It also has a tube to manually inflate it. Apparently, I believe I read where these will only hold air for a certain amount of time. I believe it's hours and hours though. But if it would start to deflate, you actually can pull this little red tube out, stick it in your mouth, and you can inflate it manually. It's pretty easy to fold up. It's got little dotted lines that shows you how to fold the inner bladder so that you can put it back in there and secure the Velcro. So just follow it. Once again, there's directions on how to fold it, and there's dotted lines to show you where to fold. So you basically do that. Same with this one, dotted lines on this side. Now, a couple things. If you have it set on manual, by law, you have to have this and this hanging out of it. And you need to have a CO2 screwed into it. Also, I believe it says right here, 24 grams CO2. In a kayak in my state, Maryland, you can have the type of PFD, the non-inflatable that I used to have, and you don't have to wear it all the time, but you have to have it on the kayak. I read that this is U.S. Coast Guard approved, but it's only U.S. Coast Guard approved if you have it on. So in other words, if you have this type of life vest in Maryland and probably most states, you can't just have it in the vessel and meet the requirement. If this is the type you're using, you have to wear it the entire time. Once again, I think I read where it's only Coast Guard approved if you have it on. If it's laying on the seat, it's not considered Coast Guard approved. So that's how it all sets up. This piece just unscrews if you want to put it back to automatic, and then you can tuck these things back up in there. Actually, this comes off, I think, with the yellow piece because it's attached to it. And you can tuck this back in there. Now, some people said that if they were out fishing in the rain, this thing got wet and automatically inflated if they had it in automatic. No! That's why I set mine to manual. Once again, I fish in very calm water. It's not a current, in other words. Sometimes they get waves. It's usually warm. I can swim. I'm usually in 6 feet or lesser water fishing. I don't fish real deep water. So most of the time, I don't really probably need a life preserver. I know that sounds weird to say. But with this one being as comfortable as it is, I can wear it all the time now. And once again, you have to wear it all the time if you want to meet the Coast Guard approval. So now I got this one. I got my CO2 in there. It's all set up, ready to go. You got to tuck this side back in. It's a little more difficult than the other side because there's more bladder material over here, but it's not too bad. You tuck that back in. You hit your Velcro again. You leave your pull cord, and this is to let, Fish Commission or anybody checks you that this is set up for manual. So if you have it set up for manual and they check you, you better have that tag hanging out. Like I say, it hangs out anyways because it's on the bottom of that plastic piece you change out to take it from automatic to manual. Now, I'm going to show you a quick little piece of video of me wearing this. You can see how well it fits and how comfortable it is. It's much cooler, not near as hot. Wow, that was fun. Holy cow. That was, rock fish got to be 19 inches to keep, I think, this time of year. Later in the year, I think they have to be 30, but holy cow. The only thing I can say about it that may be a drawback, and there may be a reason for this, this part that goes around your waist or your belly is adjustable right here. And it has a little buckle right here in the middle where it clamps. The only thing I don't understand is this back part is not adjustable. So I'm not very tall, so this isn't too bad for me. But if you were a big tall person, I don't know how far this would be riding up on you. But once again, maybe they want it, maybe it's supposed to ride up on you a little so that it'll function properly. I don't know. But this is not adjustable at all. So basically, when you put this thing over your shoulders and over your neck, this comes down to where it comes down to, and this goes around your waist. And that's all you get. You can't adjust it down any farther. This may be around your waist if you're really short, maybe around your belly if you're a little taller, maybe under your breasts or your boobs, I guess, if you're really tall. But anyways, so far, I love it. I've used it a couple times. It was well worth the $79. I'm really glad that those friends of mine got me some Bass Pro Shop gift cards. By the way, I'm not sponsored by Bass Pro or any of that. This just happens to be the brand I bought, because it's a lot less expensive than a lot of the bigger brands. You can pay $200-300 for one of these. But yeah, so that's all it does. If I fall in and I think I need to, I pull this cord, it pierces that CO2, it inflates that inner bladder, the Velcro rips open, and there I am. I'm good to go. And I do wear it all the time in my kayak now because I do want to meet Coast Guard approval. One last thing I want to mention is if this thing ever does inflate, if that CO2 discharges and this inflates, when you're back home or whatever, you have to take that CO2 cartridge off because it's spent. You have to pack this thing all back up like this, and you have to put a brand new CO2 cartridge in it. If it ever triggers, that's it. You got to put another CO2 cartridge in it for it to trigger again. You can buy those CO2 cartridges off of Amazon. I know they're not that expensive, but make sure you get the right size. I say this one takes a 24. So that's my new inflatable PFD. I highly suggest you buy them. They're, you know, about triple the price of my old red one that's not inflatable. But if you're fishing out in the heat and you like comfort when you're fishing, they are definitely worth it. And I'll see you on the next video.